Westworld is a story about robots, humans, robots trying to be human, and what it means to be alive. Recently, I've been listening to the opening theme, and I kind of wondered if there wasn't more to it than just how cool it sounded. The more I listened, the more I became convinced that there was tons of hidden meaning behind the melody, harmony, and structure of the music, and so I wanted to explore it section by section. As the robotic android hosts are being printed in the opening sequence, there's a ringing sound of metal clanging in our ears. These hosts are simple machines at first, and the metal clang makes me think of an anvil sound. I think the composer is using this sound to represent the first hosts being built. Now listen to this subtle backwards or reverse sound. Couldn't this sound possibly be foreshadowing the importance of certain characters whose story has to do with remembering backwards through time? After that, there is a simple violin theme, which is echoed by the piano. This is called call and response, like the relationship between a teacher and a student. If you think about it, humanity, represented by the violin, starts out as the teachers in Westworld, and the hosts are the students represented by the piano. It's this relationship that I feel is super important and a deliberate thing that the composers did in this musical score. Let's listen to this again and keep this in mind for later. The call and response continues, and the violin and piano eventually play the melody together. Finally, the student is in sync with the teacher. As they play together, listen to the cellos and the strings as they play an ominous pattern of 5 eighth notes in the background. I think this more detailed rhythmic pattern represents the hosts learning and becoming even more self-aware. In the show, several hosts slowly start to put together that something isn't quite right, and I think these cellos and strings do a great job of creating that anxiety. The violin and piano, teacher and student duo are still playing together peacefully until suddenly the piano becomes solo and travels down a discordant path. Listen to the strange break from melody. I think this represents the hosts finally becoming aware of their horrible reality, reaching full sentience, and discovering their true roles in the park. All at once, the string instruments play this alternating 5-beat eighth note pattern going back and forth between one pattern and the next. All at once, think this symbolizes the host's self-awareness and how they begin to awaken, but without any direction or structure. It's utter chaos. Then, in one of the coolest moments in the opening sequence, the host's bony white hands come floating off the piano as the piano keys keep playing. It's as if the host transcends its original purpose. Was the host playing the piano, or was the piano playing the host? Listen to how the melody is now led by the piano, and the violins are in the background. I think this represents the hosts being more and more in control and powerful, and the humans less and less so. The alternating 5-beat eighth note pattern continues, which is honestly my favorite part. As the music swells and the theme reaches a climax, suddenly every instrument becomes silent except the piano, which plays its discordant melody once again. I believe this is representing a descent into isolation. What do you do when you surpass your God or your Maker? The music ends with the same anvil bell tone ringing in our ears, and finally comes to an end.
Bring her back online.
I think this music perfectly represents the cycle of creation, education, evolution, conflict, and destruction. Its theme and the way it evolves is so interesting and parallels the show really well. Let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe to see more from this channel in the future.